knowledge, al-ilm al-nafi', beneficial knowledge, is that which reflects on who you are.
Punishing me for the rest of my life.
Right.
So by actually doing that, I suppose.
Okay. And look, I understand your perspective. I'm sure other Christians have different perspectives and I have a different perspective, but when it comes to theology, Christianity teaches Jesus is the Son of God, right? And Islam teaches something different. Do you know what Islam teaches about Jesus?
Well, I understand that Christ is a prophet in Islam.
Yes.
But you see, I look at this when people talk about Jesus. I just think Jesus is God in human form.
So, the thing is, God himself is all-powerful, right? We agree. And God is all-knowing, and Jesus was not all-powerful and all-knowing. He's a human, like you said. He ate, he drank, he did what human beings do, right? So, from the Islamic perspective, what the Quran states is that he's a human being, he's not divine. He's the Messiah, he's a messenger, but God doesn't become a human.
I think what you're trying to do, have you heard of Richard Dawkins?
Yes.
I remember talking to somebody once about Richard Dawkins, who was a Richard Dawkins fan.
Right.
And I said, Richard Dawkins should be a Jehovah's Witness.
Right, okay.
And they looked at me and they go, you what? How can you say that? And I said, well, what he's trying to do, he's trying to answer complex questions which we don't understand with simple answers. And that's what the Jehovah's Witnesses try to do.
Right, okay.
They're both the same.
Right.
And I say the things, sorry, at the moment, we don't understand. We need to understand, we need to accept we don't understand it. You know?
Okay. If I was to ask you a question, Andy, if Jesus came, because we both believe Jesus is alive, that's where we both share our beliefs, right? If Jesus came down from heaven right now and he was here in Speaker's Corner, he would be a physical human being, right? And if he said to you, Andy, I never claimed to be God, I only claim to be a messenger of God, would you believe him?
Again, I think you're trying to answer a very complex question.
Right.
It's like, I always look at it this way. I used to have a Rottweiler dog.
Right.
My boyfriend got it for me because I told him I was scared of big dogs.
Right.
So he got me a Rottweiler.
Right.
Rottweilers are supposed to be quite intelligent dogs.
Right. Quite aggressive as well.
Well, they're not actually. A dog is as aggressive as the owner makes it.
Right. Okay.
Now, Rottweilers, now dogs are twice as clever as cats are, and Rottweilers are intelligent dogs. But as hard as I tried, I could not explain to her how to do quadratic equations.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I understand
and I think that's where we are.
I agree, Andy, but at the same time, you are someone who's going to have judgments on morality. For example, you thought it was very nice of the woman to invite you inside, right?
Yes.
If I speak to you in a kind, gentle way, you will say that that's moral. If you hear someone shouting and being abusive, you would say that's immoral. So we can make judgments about right and wrong when it comes to morality. When it comes to God, there's basic judgments we can make. For example, God's one. We agree God's one, right? We don't agree there's more than one God. We agree there's one ultimate reality.
I think there's something out there. There's something out which we don't
So we agree is greater than us. Whatever's out there is greater than us.
Well, I suppose so, yes.
It has to be.
As I said to you, God's a mathematician. And I know you sort of...
I'm not sure about that word mathematician. It has other connotations for me.
Okay, because I look at it this way. If you study biology is very much dependent upon chemistry. And chemistry is very much dependent upon physics, like if you go into the periodic table. Physics is very dependent upon mathematics.
That's right.
Mathematics is...
Logical.
It's the empress of the sciences.
Yeah.
That's why I say God's a mathematician.
Well, we could say God is...
What I try and do is I try and understand what God is. Link it into.
Sure. Instead of saying God's a mathematician, I see where you're going. There's a better way of saying it. So, like you said, biology turns into chemistry, chemistry turns into physics, physics turns into maths, but maths turns into logic, and logic's ultimate goal is truth. So what we would say is God is the truth. God is the ultimate reality. That's a better way of saying it than God's a mathematician.
Well, I suppose yes. I mean, I suppose if you look at it, I mean, the sort of logic and the truth is the science. That's what science is.
It's greater than science. It's greater than
science.
science.
It's the science. It's the science. It's like people say to me, "Oh, how can you believe?"
How are you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah.
Old friend.
Yeah.
But people say to me, "But it's just totally irrational that there's a heaven somewhere."
Right.
I said, "No." I said, "But if you study quantum mechanics, for example, the brain works on quantum mechanics.
Right.
That's what the human brain works on, quantum mechanics. Quantum particles can pass into a parallel universe.
Right.
Mathematicians understand parallel universes exist. So is it that far-fetched to believe that when we die, we go into a parallel universe, which we could call heaven?"
I mean, we don't disagree with that. There is something beyond this world. There may be parallel universes. But theologically, you see, Moses, I'm sure you've read, have you read some of the Bible?
Yes, I'm not a great Bible reader, as I say, there's books I pick up and read. You know.
But you know some of the basics like Abraham, Noah, Moses, you know these people, right?
Yeah.
They always called to the worship of God alone.
Yeah.
And Jesus also did the same. Now, Jesus bowed down to God. Now, if he's divine, why would he bow down to God? Islam teaches he's not God, he's a messenger of God. And that makes more sense than saying he's God.
No, but I suppose I look at it as a sort of spiritual being as well. I mean, I'm a spiritualist.
Right.
And I believe in the spirit. For example...
What does that mean, like a spiritualist? What does that mean?
I'm an evolutionist. I believe in evolution.
Right.
I don't believe the story of creation as it is in the Bible.
Right.
I just can't. I just can't follow it. You know, it's like when it's cold, you get goose pimples. Do you know why you get goose pimples? When it's cold.
Because it helps with your insulation.
Yeah, it raises, but they don't do any good to us because we got no hair. We don't have the hair that
Right.
our ancestors had. But we still got it. It's like the appendix, you know. Vestigial,
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, both of these things, firstly, the appendix is no...
You see, the thing is, to my believing it is, people say, why something doesn't matter? Because it's the soul that matters, it's the spirit that matters.
No, I see what you're saying, but even when it comes to evolution, the appendix, we've found a function for it now. Darwin thought there wasn't a function. And when it comes to the goosebumps, that's consistent with creation. That's consistent with the idea of God creating us. So you see, believing in evolution and the evidences that you're presenting, these things are compatible with creation and they're compatible with different types of evolution. But look, let's get back to the point about God, right? What Moses taught about God is what we believe. So you got some Jewish people here in Speaker's Corner as well, and they also believe what I believe. The thing is, what I'm trying to get to is, Andy, do you believe in Christianity simply because it's the religion of your ancestors, or do you think it's rational to believe Jesus is God?
I think, like my friend I spoke to earlier on who was an atheist, and he said to me, I'm an atheist,
yeah.
But if I was to be religious, it would have to be Church of England.
Church of England.
He was excluding even from that the Roman Catholic Church and the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay.
He was excluding all those other branches of Christianity. He said, if I was to believe, it would have to be Church of England.
Sure.
And I think, in a way, that's how I feel.
Okay.
Now, you could argue, yes, okay, it's what I've been brought up with.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Okay, I mean, that's honest of you. But I just brought my friend, his name is Rahmatullah. This is Andy.
How are you, Andy? Doing good?
So, his ancestors, going back, they were people who believed in a type of pagan religion, okay? And then they became Muslim. My ancestors go back from and they became Muslim. Your ancestors going back were Christian, but before that they were pagan. So people choose and pick their religion, right? But shouldn't we use our reason to choose the religion that we're going to choose, rather than just going with what our ancestors believe?
Yeah, but I suppose again that I could look at Church of England. I've had the Jehovah's Witnesses come round and knock on my door, goodness knows how many times. But they're really pissed off with me. And do you know why? Because I keep them there and I argue with them.
Okay.
They don't call on my front door anymore.
They normally like that though when someone
They
invites
don't like
them.
it because they don't like being. And as I say, it's. I don't know. I suppose there might be another faith out there that I might have felt comfortable with. You know? Somebody once said to me once. He said, "You know when you do right or wrong because you can feel it in your heart."
Sometimes your heart can lead you astray too. Like sometimes there's things you want to do, but they're not good for you.
I was going to carry on.
Okay, sorry.
The man who said that to me was an Islamic cleric.
Right. But he could be wrong though.
It could be yes.
Look, what I'm trying to get to is that when it comes to God being human, this is not something which the prophets of the Old Testament taught. And it's not something which Jesus believed in, because you know, the idea of Jesus being God, this came about a time after his death, after he went up to heaven. It happened afterwards. And this theology, this Trinitarian theology that Church of England subscribes to, this was put together hundreds of years later. Do you see?
It may well have been, because you say, as I say, being gay, I mean, I know I can go back over other religions and it's a great sin.
Right.
But to me, the way I look at it, is, if I jump into bed with another man who's consenting, that's got to be less of a sin than if I rape a woman.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand what you're saying, but I don't see how this is linked to theology. Like, if you're gay or if you're straight, your theological beliefs should be rational, right? And a man being God is not rational, because men are like us. They're limited. They eat, they drink, they're human, right?
But again, you're trying to answer complex questions with simple answers. You're doing,
Maybe it's a simple question and a simple answer.
You're doing a Richard Dawkins on me.
Not really. Not really. I mean, we both agree. So we can come to some decisions in terms of complex questions, can't we?
Yeah.
But the idea of God being a man is not a complex question. It's actually pretty simple. God can't be a man, because men are limited.
You see, what I love about mathematics, because I don't know what it is. I love maths. I wish I was better. I wish I was brainy enough to go beyond my A level in it. I love maths. But it's those things in maths. It's like imaginary numbers. It's just so totally abstract.
Right.
It's like when I did logarithms for the first time.
Right.
And it's numbers to the power of 10, and you think, yeah, you can imagine 10 to the power of 3, 10 to the power of 4, 10 to the power of 5, which is 10 times 10 times 10, or 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. How do you get 10 times when the number is to 3.142? You know, things like that, you don't understand it. And this is the thing with mathematics. And I think there's a lot of things that we don't comprehend because we don't need to. It's like space being curved.
Right.
Somebody, best way I explain it. If you're sitting on a spaceship and you're in the middle of space and you've got a module at one end of it and it leaves 3/4 of the speed of light, right? You see that spaceship disappearing away at 3/4 of the speed of light.
Yeah.
Because wherever you are in space, you're the centre of the universe.
Right.
If you're sitting on the module, you see the spaceship disappearing away at 3/4 of the speed of light. Yeah. So if you're on that spaceship, and one module goes that way at 3/4 of the speed of light, and one module goes that way at 3/4 of the speed of light. If you're sitting on one of the modules, you see the main spaceship going away at 3/4. But what velocity is the other module going away at? Bearing in mind that nothing can go faster than the speed of light.
I'm not sure what the answer is there.
Well, you think it's 3/4 of the speed of light,
Yeah.
plus the other 3/4 of the speed of light, which would have to be 1.5 times the speed of light.
Right.
And nothing can travel faster than the speed of light.
What it has to do with...
And you answer that one, you can answer that one by saying that space is curved.
Right.
So space is curved. Well, we don't comprehend that.
But we do comprehend space is curved. We do also comprehend that a higher mass would mean more curvature. There's things we do comprehend, right? So time and space, we no longer believe them to be fixed. We believe them to be like
Yeah,
fabric.
but what I'm saying is that our brains, like we said with my Rottweiler, who couldn't understand quadratic equations, she didn't need to.
Andy, I agree with you, certain things we can't understand. But there are certain things we do understand, right? Moses never taught that a man can be God. He taught the opposite. So did Abraham, so did Noah. So Jesus never said these things. These things came much later. And Islam comes to teach that Jesus never claimed to be God. So all I'm trying to say to you is that you have obviously thought about religion deeply. You're an intelligent guy. You should also look into Islam. You shouldn't just go with the religion of your ancestors because they're your ancestors. You see, because your ancestors could be wrong.
Welcome to Pro Combination Oils. There you have it for the ingredients of this product for beard strengthening and growth. For more information, please check out the Instagram page at Pro Combination Oils. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.